Those who oppose me shall be left to drown in my wake.
I have a weird feeling you're going to be the voice.
Necros just goes, man, I gotta tell you, you're cool, but I...
Hi man, how you getting on?
What's up?
This is pretty fucking surreal, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the voice of Namor. It's pretty rad to see people playing with him. It's really cool.
You know what's like? I don't know if you get this a lot. You can hear like you have a studio voice.
It's funny because my Namor voice is a little lower register. Like
Those who oppose me shall be left to drown in my wake.
it's like a little deeper in my chest.
What? Mate, what? So how does this come about? Like, how do you, like, how long have you been doing this? Because I'm seeing you said you done, is it Gus in Modern Warfare 2 as well?
Yeah. I've been a professional actor for like 20 plus years. I don't even know. And I've been doing voiceovers for a long time, just like commercials and that kind of stuff. And then I did a small part in a game called Just Cause 4. It was like in the DLC. And that was my first video. I asked as many questions as I possibly could to like the directors and whatnot to see how I could do more of that. And then sure enough, I got the audition for Call of Duty, and I used to play I've been playing Call of Duty since like 2010. Like it's been years. And then when I finally got the part, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, Just Cause is already huge. Like, can't be a small game there. I just dropped that little ball. But man, that's nuts.
Yeah, and then I got this, and this has just been such an awesome experience in general. I mean, the whole thing is surreal. The fact that there was even an opening, you know, like every other character here has been voiced by like the guy who's been voicing them for years. Like Spider-Man is Yuri, and the Hulk is Fred, and so forth. You know, like
So is it Wolverine's tank in COD Zombies? I didn't realize that till the other day, and I was like, oh my god, there's actually like a large register of people here.
Yeah. It's pretty rad. I'm like, you know, I'm starstruck being in this group.
You're starstruck. I'm sitting chatting to you. What do you mean? So when you're playing, do you play Namor?
Yeah. Okay. I only play Namor, dude. Last season, season 0, I had 51 hours on Namor and 17 minutes on Groot.
Mate, what? And do you?
Yeah,
okay.
so
level. Do you say the lines as they're coming out?
Oh yeah, all the time. I stream too, so whenever I'm doing it, I just kind of I just got used to repeating the lines, and people always ask me, "Hey, can you say the line? Can you say the line?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." But it's funny because I don't usually play with open mic, like open game chat.
Yeah, I can see that.
And when I do, people are either really confused or they're like, "No way, that's not you. You have a voice modulator or some shit."
Man,
it's really funny.
So what does it look like? Do you do that in a home studio, or is it like a full production, or like how does that come?
Yeah, the audition. So I have a little like studio in my closet essentially where I do all the auditions. So I audition from there, but we recorded the lines in a studio.
Okay.
Where all the clients and the people from NetEase and Marvel, they were all through like a virtual port, but there was a engineer and a director in the studio with me. So.
And how long is that studio session? Because like that's my background was doing like sound production, so now my brain's like ticking overtime, like the mic type and all that type of stuff that you use for voiceovers.
Right. Because they're SAG. It's a 4-hour session. So we did the first round of lines, which was interactions with all the characters that launched. We did all that in one session, 4 hours. And then subsequently, we've had one more session with some of the newer characters that have come out and some that haven't come out yet.
So some of those they're already kind of recorded ahead of time and they're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so my follow-up question has to be, are you the voice of any other characters?
In Marvel Rivals, currently, no. Just Namor.
Currently?
But
currently.
I mean... I mean, it's one of these things where like Namor is a very specific character. So I'm very happy that they've allowed me to sort of bring my own spin to it and create what I wanted to create. They've just been really cool about that. So, if I do anything more, great. If not, I'm super happy with Namor. I think he's also one of the coolest characters.
Yeah, I will say I think he's one of the best characters. I think genuinely I'll say the voice lines are one of those ones where you've done a great job and they don't feel overbearing. And I feel like people are already saying, you see the memes about Galactica in it, and people kind of being like, oh god, her voice. But like I think you've got one of those voices that slides in so well that when you hear them, it's so natural, and you're not kind of like you don't get that like, oh, like you just get that like, oh nice, like my guy's said his part.
Yeah, I appreciate that because as a player too, like sometimes I'm like, oh, shut up, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so it is kind of a cool thing that like thankfully also I think Namor's kind of been under the radar, and so he's not like the go-to character. There's even people that I come across that are like, I don't even know who that is. I'm like, okay, cool.
Damn.
That means you haven't
Damn.
gotten sick of him yet.
No, I think he is, for me, this season was kind of when I discovered him. Kind of played him maybe a little bit last season. And then this season, because Storm got better, I was like, okay, well, the turrets are actually getting slept on. And I think now more people are starting to... I think Twitter clocked on a wee bit, being like, this guy's getting annoying. This guy's like, in terms of playing against them. Which is why I'm kind of sitting here being like, oh yeah, absolutely. If I don't even have to hit everything, like, I can let the turrets do half the work, I'm more than okay with that.
It's so funny, man. Do you know the streamer Necros?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I played with them at the beginning of the season in December. We played together, and Necros just goes, "Man, I gotta tell you, you're cool, but I fucking hate your character. As Spider-Man, I cannot get around him. He always kills me." And I was like, "Yes."
Yep, you're like, yep, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because, like, everybody has somebody that they can't go up against. Otherwise, it's like I think you were asking about the wings on Namor's team.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if
What
he
was
could
your
fly
thought on
around
that?
the map. So I cannot confirm nor deny that maybe I wish they did something more.
Okay, so you put a word down and said, come on.
Yeah. No, I wish like he could either do like a double jump or even have like a dash with them or something like that. I think
Yeah.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
But
big
I
time.
also understand that like he's super strong. If he could fly around the map, nobody could stop him.
Oh,
It'd
yeah,
be
for
really
sure.
hard to like get him down. So, I think they're like, well, we can't make him fly. That would be crazy. I don't know,
So-
maybe they will at some point.
I'm really curious because I'm watching Punisher just now, and I'm seeing a lot of people chatting about John Bernthal and his type of stuff. And did you go to like any of the comics or anything like that to kind of see how he talked, or was it more just like what was the inspiration in a sense before you went into the studio?
Yeah, I thought, well, so it's interesting because we get the auditions and we don't know what we're auditioning for. Video games especially are super secretive. So it was like, I had a code name, I don't know what it was. And then you get this audition, but the description was very much like, I think I know who this is,
Yeah.
So there were a couple lines that sort of got me to where I think he was personality-wise. The typical air breather. Like that line is so great because I'm like, okay, this guy thinks humans are like insects,
Yeah.
they're just disgusting air breathers. So that sort of showed me his attitude. He's like cocky, he does not stand, like he doesn't just let anybody push him over. So
Yeah,
for him,
was it the
that was
70% of
super.
the world is mine or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. And like when I did Gus, for example, Gus is I made him very playful on Call of Duty. So he's like sort of, I was like, what if a guy in the army in this like war zone is actually like, has a good sense of humor and likes to joke around. And so I was able to bring that personality to that. And where Gus is playful, Namor is like confident and cocky. And he's also super flirty, which I think is so funny.
Oh yeah, big time part of the character, isn't it?
Yeah. And then like things like, for example, I know that he lives in the bottom of the ocean. So someone at the bottom of the ocean, in my opinion, has to have a chest that can withhold a long, like a big capacity of like air or whatever.
So his register was deeper. You know, he speaks like this because it's got to resonate in the ocean, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool. And like, I do read the comics. I really enjoy them. So, I mean, the first time he met Magneto, I don't know if you know if you know this, but the first time he met the X-Men, both Professor X and Magneto were trying to like take him to come to their side, and Magneto got to him first, but then Magneto dissed Scarlet Witch, and Namor was like, no, sir.
No.
You will not talk to women like that. And so then he turned on Magneto, and then he's like, Scarlet Witch is the most beautiful woman I've seen since Susan Storm. And so he's just like, he will do anything for these women. It's so fascinating, so funny.
Such a like good outer persona. I love that kind of thought about the, like, if it's if he's at the bottom of the ocean, the deeper register coming in. That's such a smart way to go with it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, you know, it's funny because like I learned very early on with these video game things, like any audition really as an actor, if they know what they want, they wouldn't be holding auditions. They would just cast what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. And so when I get an opportunity like that, I'm like, okay, how do I make this guy stand out, unique, fun, something that isn't going to be overbearing, like you were saying. So and the developers on this game have been so cool with me, being like, yeah, how would you say that? What would you think Namor would do? And then they're like, oh yeah, I like that. Like the line with Susan Storm, where he's like, oh Susan, you hurt me. It's just like
you're turning the flat up a wee bit.
Yeah, totally. But he's just like, hey, I know you can't really hurt me, but oh, you wound me. It's just like, it's so playful. I love everything about him.
What do you think? See, when you, like, if you go out, do you ever get like caught off? Does anyone ever clock your voice and be like, I feel like I know you from somewhere?
Well, funny you say that. I was literally at a comic store last week, actually. I went to get more comics on Namor because I want to read more about his lore and everything he's done. And I was talking to the guy behind the counter. I'm like, yeah, there's this game called Marvel Rivals, and I voiced this character. And there were these like kids, I think they were maybe 10 years old. They like ran off screaming. And then this guy comes up and he goes, hey, listen, my kids overheard you. Do you mind saying hi? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I went in and they were like giggling, and I did a line for them, and they lost their shit, dude. They were like screaming in the store, going like, oh my God, it's Namor, it's him. And the guy's like, I made him. Oh my, he's like getting teary-eyed, and I was like, this is so fun. Like these kids that that made their day. I thought it was just so fun to be able to do that for them. But in general, I don't know. I don't feel like people on the street play this game, So like, I'm not like going around going like, hey guys, I'm Namor.
A big shirt of them on, being like, this is me, and like that.
Yeah. So it's like a thing. Like, if people recognize me, it's different. Like I've seen people recognize me on a commercial or in a soap opera or things like that. And so you live in LA, like I get starstruck. I see people, I'm like, oh my God, that's so and so. Oh shit, that's so and so. It just happens. But I don't know. I think it's just a fun experience.
This is incredible. I'm genuinely like, because what you're saying there about even the kids are getting starstruck about it, like, to me, growing up and we talk about Call of Duty and all that, like, the original Modern Warfare 2, Soap McTavish, like, to me, is just such, like, identifiable voice. And it must be, like, so sick thinking, well, you have that impact. And, I mean, I'll even say now, chatting to you, this is, like, I love this game. We pivoted the channel to kind of be focused on it because I just felt like it was one that I was getting good at and one that I could, like, be comfortable chatting about and having an opinion on. And now seeing the guy that I main come in and doing all this, man, like, this is, starstruck's the perfect word for it. Like, this is sick.
Dude, it's funny because I game. I've been playing video games for most of my life, and I love comics. The fact that I get to be in this world of comics and games, to me, I'm like still, like I said, I'm still like it's like a mind fuck. Like I don't really believe it, And then, and anytime I see anybody playing with Namor, I'll stop in and say hi, because if I was on the receiving end of that, I think it would be so fun, so cool. I've only gotten like shit on twice, which will be like, okay, I don't really care, and I'm like, okay, well then, bye,
That's nah.
See you later.
Yeah, that's not right. That's insane.
Yeah. So and also like, if I can bring any sort of like joy to like a little moment of joy to anybody, then I'm all about that. Like to me, this is fun. This game should not be toxic. This should be a fun
Oh
community of
yeah.
people that enjoy this. So yeah, I love it. I mean, I think it's so cool. And when I see like honestly like you're Scottish, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'm Scottish.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. It your accent. I love your accent, dude. I think it's so cool.
Thanks,
And
man.
I was trying to listen in and be like, man, I wanna learn this accent. It's so good.
Listen,
Like Scotland's on my I want to go there bucket list.
oh man, if you ever want to sit and just listen and take notes, I will gladly sit here and yap for hours. Like this is sick.
Uh,
Like I never thought with streaming and all that this would ever be something that comes my way, and because of that, like this is surreal to me, man. Like so, thank you for taking the
yeah,
time.
dude, thank you. I mean, your love for Namor is what makes me like excited. So, if I played a character that nobody wanted to play with, I'd kind of be like, sitting in the corner crying. So it's exciting when I see people get excited about it. That's fun for me.
Damn, man. So, okay, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm curious. I'm like, because I'm always trying to think like how you give back in these senses, and in my head, I'm like, as a voice actor, do you have like advice for people that would want to get into voice acting, like a place to start or a way to do it? Like, what would you recommend?
Yeah, man, I get this question a lot. Almost every day somebody messages me and says, "Hey, I want to start voice acting. How do I do it?"
Mm,
I don't necessarily have great advice because I don't think there's a roadmap to doing it.
yeah.
The industry has shifted so much since I started in general. What I will say is you will 100% fail if you don't try.
Yep.
That's the only way to 100% fail. So if it's something that anybody wants to do, start doing it. Get yourself a mic. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but just get yourself a mic and learn the most basic editing skills ever. Because I don't know how to edit on any of that stuff, but I
Hmm.
do use like Adobe Audition, right? So I'll record my auditions and send them off to my agent, and they handle all the other shit. I'm very lucky that I live in this industry and I have professional agents and all that. But
Mm,
I got my agents by creating my own reel. So what I did was I listened to commercials and characters on animated shows that I was like, I could have done that voice. Yeah, I could have done that, or I could do something similar with that. And I wrote it down and I recorded it. And then I took music off of YouTube and I put it under and I created like a little reel, like if I had done that professional commercial. And I did that, did a minute and a half of that and sent it to some agents, and I just happened to get lucky.
nah,
So
that's incredible. You're right. You
it
have to
is,
try.
yeah, it's like you have to just try it, practice so that when you do get the opportunity, you're ready, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Rivals came to me at a time when I felt very confident about what I was doing. If I had gotten it early on, I wouldn't have gotten this job. So it's like an athlete, you got to train to go play on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of it. That's my advice is just start doing it.
Great advice. Just fire in. Jesus,
Yeah.
man, this is still like surreal is the word. I'd never seen my day going this way.
Dude,
This is
I'll
unbelievable.
tell you this much. I do talk to a lot of streamers. I try to come in and say hi, but I've talked to you longer than most. I think you're a super charming dude. So
Thanks, man.
whatever your energy is that you're putting out, keep that up because it's pretty rad.
I really appreciate that, man. Honestly. Um, are you okay? Just if I make a video out of this, is that okay? Like, am I cool to do that, or you prefer to keep it
Yeah, yeah,
private?
yeah.
Or
No, go for it, man. Whatever.
no,
If it helps you, go for it. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Just like this would be
And
quite nice, just to have as a little YouTube video, a little moment for myself. Like that is sick, man.
I
This
love it.
is
Hey,
incredible.
let me see. Anybody in the chat want any questions or anything? Because I'm happy to answer. Before I go, I don't want to neglect the chat.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any questions for him? I've seen a lot of love for Gus. I've seen a lot of love for Gus. People saying
Dude,
this
I love
is
that. You know what's funny? Gus. So I auditioned for Gus. He was a Brazilian character, and I grew up in Brazil, so I do speak Portuguese also. And when I booked the part, I went to the studio to record, and I get there, and they're like, "Hey, Daniel, so we found out that you're actually not from Brazil." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, but I lived in Brazil, and I know the culture and the language." They're like, "No, no, no, you're from Costa Rica, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay, let's make Gus Costa Rican." And I was like, "Wait, what? Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, I want you to say Costa Rican slang, and throw in whatever you want to do." And it's such a cool thing because Costa Rica is super tiny, and to put the Costa Rican flag in that game, there's literally a document in Costa Rica requesting to make me a national hero
Jesus.
because they thought it was so cool that I would be able to do that to this country. So it was really neat. And then one of my favorite lines, I don't know if anybody in the chat plays with Gus, but when we were kind of shooting the shit with the directors and stuff, they were like, I told them, I was like, I played this. I've been playing this my whole adult life. And they were like, what's your favorite way to like get an enemy? And I was like, I love hitting them with a Semtex grenade. They're like, oh, what do you say? And I'm like, throwing sticky. And
That's not.
we all kind of laughed, and the engineer's like, hey, I was recording on that, and they played it back, and they kept it, and that's in the game. If you
This is
throw
a
a
wonder
Semtex
take.
grenade, yeah, he's like, throwing sticky. So it's like super personal, like that's super, like it connects to me in such a way that I'm like, that's so cool. Like, what an opportunity.
That's nuts. I'm liking that question. Do you know how they voice the whale?
Oh, I have no idea how they did it. This is my horn.
I would love it. I would love it if it was just several takes of you screaming it. That would have made my day.
Yeah. Ah! Yeah, that's really funny. No, I have no idea.
Do you ever lose your voice?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Especially after sessions. I remember mostly it's the sessions where you do like grunts and stuff, like getting hit, like like deaths and that kind of stuff. Oh man, in Call of Duty we did Catching on Fire,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
just a scream. I couldn't speak for like a week. It was pretty rough.
Cause I remember, I think it was a few years ago, they done, was it, what's it, Gary Oldman, who was playing Reznov. And it was chatting about how it was you need to do. You have to have like a fall, being on fire, and getting shot or something like that. There's like some your like defaults for games like COD.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing because like I also, by the way, I learn as I go. I remember being in the recording booth for Call of Duty, and they're like, okay, so give me 5 different ways of you getting punched in the gut. So I'm like, okay, and the director goes, here's a tip, change the vowel. And I'm like, huh. So then it goes to ooh. And it's the same grunt, but now you have 5 different lines, and that kind of stuff is stuff that I didn't know, but like that's what the pros do. So I learned from that, and then when I did Namor, I did it on the first take, and they're like, great, moving on. And you're like, oh shit, okay, cool.
Does that feel great when you're like first time it? You're just like, oh, we've aced this, like we've got this in the bag.
It is, but it's tricky because there's lines that I hear in game. I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember recording that. And people are like, how do you not remember? I'm like, because it was a one time. Like some of these lines you record 4, 5, 6 times, and then some lines you record once and they move on, and you're doing 400 lines. So the memory just, I don't have time to be like, let me remember that line. It's just like, okay, move on, do the next one. So it's like a cool thing, but it's also tricky. I think it's nice because like my voice is, by the end of the 4 hours, my voice is gone. So if we can get one line recorded on one take, I'm so happy to move on.
Yep, next take. Do you ever get called back? Like if that happened, like is there a chance you just get called back, or is it usually like they're confident they've got what they need?
It has with this game, everybody knows exactly what they're doing. So there hasn't been a situation where they're like, yeah, we didn't like how that turned out. They usually, if they don't like it right then and then, we'll keep doing it until we get it right. I've gone back once, like I said, to record new characters, interactions, but for the most part, I can't think of any like mistakes or something that they needed to fix on this.
I have a weird theory, and I know this is I'm guessing there's NDAs and stuff in place that means you can neither confirm nor deny. I have a weird feeling you're going to be the voice.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is. I can hear that little. I can hear it. Oh shit! Okay. I feel I don't know what it is. I can hear a little bit in there.
I'll just say, all the good vibes that you're sending my way. Let's put them in there. Let's put them out in the universe and see what happens.
I want. It's been for a long time one of my favorites. You've really brought me, to be honest, you've brought me to like love Namor as a character and make me want to learn like more about him. There's this YouTube channel, I can't remember the name, and I wish I could shout them out just now, but they literally just read off parts of the comics, and seeing a lot of the stuff between Namor and Sue has got me like, oh, this is a lot. Like there's a lot of kind of story to tell here.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm kind of with you. I got this part. I obviously did a little research before. I got to bring my personality, but now that I'm this deep in it, I want to learn everything there is about him, and mostly because I think it's super cool and super fun, but also like I love interacting with people, and there are people that know a lot more than me, and I don't want to let them down. Like if somebody were to be like, hey, what do you think of this time that Namor did this? And I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's such a disappointment. So it's like a combination of I want to make people happy. I want to make people proud that I get to do this and not like phoning it in. And also, yeah, I think it's really fun. I enjoy reading the comics. It's a cool thing.
This is nuts, man. This is really cool. This is genuinely, I can't thank you enough for coming in, man. This is sick.
Yeah, man, I literally just canceled the meeting just so that I could keep talking to you.
Oh, man, you don't need to do that. Oh, I feel terrible.
No. I did it on my own accord. I think, I was going to come in and say hi, say a line or two, and then take off, but this has been really fun chatting with you.
I really appreciate it. Listen, I don't want to take too much of your time. If there's ever a time you want a game or anything, I would love to sit and chat with you and just vibe out if you like.
Yeah, dude, I'm down.
Or anything more, man.
What time is it in Scotland right now?
We are 9:20 in the PM.
Oh,
so
shit,
I think,
okay.
Did you see your LA?
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. 1:20.
Yeah, 8 hours ahead of you guys.
Sorry, 1:20 over here.
1. Yeah, there we go. There it is. But yeah, 8 hours ahead. I'll be here if you ever want to do something, man. I would love to have you on again because this has been incredible.
Let's do it, dude. Let's do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been super fun. All right, I'll let you go. Chat like the tide. Namor always rises again.
Bro. My man, thank you for everything. I'll talk to you soon, right? Thank you so much.
GG's, dude.
GG in a bit, man.
Bye.
What just happened? What just Boys, oh my god. Oh. What just happened? Oh my god. This is sick. What is my life? What is my life? This is so cool. Man, what?